Again, my name is John Williams. I own Rent My Home Property Management based in Clarksville, Tennessee. We are a property management company that manages homes in Middle Tennessee, pretty much anywhere from Clarksville down to Nashville, Murfreesboro. That's the locations we serve. We manage single family homes and small multifamily homes. We focus on the long-term rental side. So just think unfurnished rental properties, long-term leases, typically 12 months or so. I've personally been managing rental properties for about 8 years now. I would say that I'm definitely the DIY kind of type. I like to figure things out and do things myself, but knowing everything that I know about property management now, I still think it's a good idea to hire a property manager, and in my case, pay them almost $2,000 a year to take care of my investment, and here's why. The first thing you gotta ask is, okay, is it worth the cost? Obviously, if it was tens and tens of thousands of dollars to hire a property manager, it might be an easier decision not to. You might lean more into, do it yourself kind of, but most property managers realistically are charging, I don't know, somewhere around 8 to 10% of the monthly rental rate. My charge is 10% of the monthly rental rate. This is down in Alabama. I pay them about $2,000 a year to take care of my property. And so the first thing I do is, okay, is it worth my time to manage the property? It's a time question, simply dollars per hour. Okay, if I'm gonna spend 3 to 4 hours per month managing the property, some months it's gonna be less, some months it's gonna be more. Over the course of a year, I might spend 40, 50 hours just focusing on that one rental property. And so I gotta ask, okay, if I could hire a property manager for, let's say, $2,000 a year, or spend $50 or 50 hours over the course of an entire year to manage that rental property, you could easily calculate the dollars per hour on that and ask yourself, okay, is it worth it to do it myself, or is it worth it to hire that out? Now, for most people, that dollars per hour, it's really going to be worth it just to hire it out, just for time alone, because your time can be better spent elsewhere if you're working a job, managing your own business, etc. Another thing you get is like the leveraged expertise and knowledge from that property manager when you hire them. And so you could do it yourself, yes, but think about what you get when you hire that property manager. In my case, I do know about property management generally, and I'm well qualified in Tennessee, but every single state is different. And so I'm kind of I'm treading waters that I'm not familiar with in Alabama. And so it's wise of me to leverage the expertise of someone who has done this for years, does this every single day, is in tune with the changing laws, rules, and regulations of that particular state. Even some various counties and cities might have different laws that affect property management businesses. And so I could spend the time to learn all those laws and stay in touch with them and keep up with them. But by hiring this property manager, I get to leverage their expertise and knowledge. And so that learning curve is essentially brought down to zero for me, because I don't have to do any learning. I could just leverage their learning and pay them to do the managing for me. And so rather than reinvent the wheel, that's kind of how I think about it. That's another reason why I decided to hire a property manager for my property out of state, just leveraging their expertise and knowledge so I don't have to reinvent the wheel and learn, Alabama from the ground up. Then there's the headache factor. I like to break up the headaches into small headaches and big headaches. Rental property ownership, there's a lot of headaches in the business. Do it for any amount of time and you'll see that. The smaller headaches are just like I like to say, death by 1,000 cuts. And so your smaller work orders, the toilet's leaking, the faucet's leaking, the garbage disposal is clogged, whatever it is, the basic questions that are easy to answer and easy to solve, but nonetheless, they're frequent, they take up your time, things that you have to address, not necessarily urgent, but these are like the minor headaches that you deal with. And so rather than trying to deal with them myself, I can leverage this property manager to do that for me. And I don't let those minor things take up my time. My time and my mind share is better spent elsewhere. And so by hiring them, I get to leverage their network, their team, their vendors to address those minor headaches. And I never become aware of 99% of them. And so I get my mind share back. If I do it myself, I lose that mind share. And you can't really monetize that. You can't place a clear dollars per hour on that, but it's definitely a factor. And then there's again, going back to the rules and regulations, when you're placing a tenant, if you're doing this just as a one-off, managing your own property, you gotta prepare a lease and learn the rules and regulations and laws around leasing. You wanna make sure you do it right, or you could just pay someone to shorten that curve, do it for you. Someone who's done this they do this every day. You don't even have to think about it. You have some confidence knowing that, okay, if I try to reinvent the wheel and do this myself, what could go wrong versus, okay, I'm going to lean into someone who's done this thousands and thousands of times, does this every day. It's kind of the safer option. So it's a way to kind of deleverage your risk a little bit as well. Minor headaches can be a bit bigger headache if they happen, at an inconvenient time. For example, if you're working in a different state and you're clocked out, you're not on the clock, you're trying to enjoy your weekend, you're on a vacation, and you get one of these minor headache calls about a leaking whatever, that can kind of put you in a bad mood or throw you off. Or if you get one of these calls on like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas, it is particularly annoying to deal with those things on the holidays. So again, you get that mind share back when you have a team you can rely on to take those kinds of things for you. And then there's the major headaches. Major headaches are like evictions, tenant malicious damage, like they destroy the property, there's a fire, there's a major leak, something like that. If you own rental properties long enough, you're going to get the minor headaches, you're going to get the major headaches. It's only a matter of time. It's not if they're going to happen, it's when. And so eventually you may have a fire at one of your rental properties, you may have a leak. Just think, okay, hiring a property manager is kind of like, if you really want to be the one to handle that emergency, that urgent headache when it comes, because again, it's not a matter of if it's coming, it's a matter of when. And so when that fire comes, when that leak comes, are you really going to want to deal with it? Sure, you could probably figure it out, but imagine how much stress that's going to give you when it does happen. Then of course, if you're dealing with an eviction, you have to learn the local laws around that. If you're out of state, or even if you're not out of state, you're worrying about having to get that tenant out of there while staying in compliance with the law, while making sure your property's cared for and brought back up to the standard so you can get it re-rented. And so the potential for major headaches, hiring a property manager is kind of insurance against that. So you have that peace of mind knowing that someone's got your back if and when something does go wrong. A side note on maintenance, I know being in the industry that property managers often get great rates with local vendors. Usually they get volume discounts for giving vendors a lot of business. The vendors like to work with them, and so they give their clients better rates. And so a regular homeowner, if you call up a handyman or an HVAC tech for the first time and you order a one-off repair, you're going to get a retail price. But if a property manager has a relationship with those vendors, which they usually do, they can get better rates. And so you actually save money, I believe, on your maintenance costs when you work with a great property manager. And so I know by having a property manager for my out-of-state property that I'm likely saving costs on maintenance. In reality, over the long term, over multiple years, the cost you save on maintenance will likely beat the cost that you pay a property manager overall. And so not only are you saving your time, but by leveraging them and their expertise and their relationships in maintenance, you could actually save a lot of money too. So again, just to recap, why I chose to hire a property manager for my property in Alabama, despite being a property manager myself and the DIY type. One, because the time, it's simply not worth the time to figure everything out over there. I can leverage their expertise and their network to basically give me peace of mind, give me that almost like insurance in the sense that I won't have to deal with the minor and major headaches when they do occur. And so I could focus on what I'm good at, and that's different for everyone. I could focus on what I'm doing full time, what my primary thing is, and basically get that off my plate. And it's well worth it just because property managers are pretty inexpensive when you think about it. So if you have any questions about property management or rental property ownership in Middle Tennessee, from Clarksville down to Nashville, we'd love to chat with you. Again, my name is John Williams, and I own Rent My Home Property Management based in Clarksville. You can check us out at TennesseeManager.com. Thank you.